Hey guys, Pankaj here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to continue NumPy with part 3. So let's see where we left off and what we're going to have today. I'll share my screen. Okay, so in the last video, we saw creating a lot of different kind of arrays, then splitting the array, stacking up array, modifying arrays value. So in this video, I'm going to continue remaining topics. So we'll see how to modify different values or array of values or the range of value from the array. Okay, how to flatten the array, what is repeat and tile, append, insert. So whatever function I'm going to cover today, those are also very heavily and frequently used in the data science field. Okay, whenever it comes to machine learning or deep learning or data manipulation, these kind of things will be used heavily. Okay, so first let's see modifying range of values. So I'll create one simple array in p dot rand int. You see here I'm going to use random again and again. Why? Because I don't want to write all the set of values manually. Random dot rand int, then let's say from 1 to 50, I would like to generate 16 different values and reshape them with 4x4 matrix. Okay, let's print it. Okay, so what is the mistake? Sorry for the typo. Yeah. Okay, now we got one array, right? With 4x4. So here, let me use print. Okay, so this is 4x4 matrix and this is the shape. So in previous video, I told how to modify one particular value, right? So let's do a small revision here. So I would like to modify this particular value, right? So shop 20, I would like to have 22,000. Okay, so this comes under which row? It comes under first row, that is 0th row, and the first column, right? And you just do the assignment, correct? That's how you change it, right? Now 20 got replaced as 27. Now let's say you would like to change the range of values. So from this row, these three row and these three columns, I would like to replace. Okay, so let's say 31, 47, 19 and 31, 18, 18. This particular square matrix, I would like to set as 0. So how to do that? Okay, so first you should know this comes under which row. It is coming in first row, right? So A of first row. So as I mentioned, let me just write here the syntax. Multiple values I'll mention. Okay, so here is your array, then here row, then after comma it will be column. Okay, so since you are accessing row, so row is what? It list, right? So to access list or range of list of values, so all those methods will be applied here. Okay, so like you will have, what do you say, start, then end, then step size. So all rule remains same, whatever we have seen in the list. Okay, similarly for the column also. Okay, so we'll follow the same rule and let's do the modification. So this start from first row. So let's make from row first onwards. I would like to go with all the rows. So below 31, whatever rows are there, let's talk all. So I'll just mention this double colon or single colon, anything is fine. Okay, so my row is done. Now from column. So column is 0 and 1, right? So from first column, I want to consider all the column, right? So it will be considering this row onwards, every row, and from this column onwards, every column. Okay, I would like to make it as 0. Let's print it. Okay, so here I just mentioned one column. I would like to mention all. You see here, that's how you change the value. Pretty simple, right? So only thing is you just have to remember the syntax, how to access row and column. So I'm going to talk about more about this indices or indexing and slicing in the next session. Okay, now let's see next one, flattening an array. So how to flat the array? I'll create the same array here. So flattening array is nothing but you have a matrices, let's say, or matrix, which is having multiple rows, multiple column, right? So you got the matrix, you would like to make this as a single dimension array, right? Or you want to flat. So all the row and column will be combined together and it will form a single dimension array or normal list. So let me just print this array. So for this, we have one direct function called a.ravel. Okay, so this is the function. If you just make this, it is going to return the flattened array. Okay, so here if you notice, right, it by default it is row measure. So first it will take the first row 19, 31, 44, then it will go to next and next and so on. Okay, so this is called row measure. So I'll just mention default row measure. Okay, now let's say you want to have, so in another option, you can have column measure also, right? So how to do that? You need to give the extra argument. So I would like to get 1942, 149 as a first 4 element, then 31, 40, 31, 16 like that and so on. So here we have something called order, right? So you just mention order. If you don't remember, watch my previous video, I've talked about order. So by default, we have, I think it is Fortran style. Okay, so by default, it is having C style. Okay, so let me just mention. So to make it column measure, you just replace as C. C stands for C style, not the column style. Okay. You see here, it will take 19. Yeah, so by default, you already got. So to make it column, you need to have Fortran style. That is 1942, 149. That's what you see here. And after that, 31, 40, 31, 16, right? And so on. So that's how you flat the array. Now let's talk about repeat and tile. So repeat and tile is also very important function. So by which you can repeat one particular element or one set of array, the multiple array, and you can form the matrices using repeating the element. Okay, so I'm just going to create a dot. Let's say I have np dot repeat. So what it does, so repeat array. So my array is, let's say, 1, 2, 3. Okay, then what it needs, repeats. I want to repeat them. Let's say I have only one element. Okay, I want to repeat them 2 times. See here, so one will be repeated 2 times. Okay, so this was single dimensional array. Let's say I have one array with 1, 2, that is first row, and second row will be, let's say, 3 and 4. Okay, so see here what it is giving. If I repeat 2 times, so every element will get repeated 2 times. See, first row will have first element will be repeated 2 times, then second, then third, and fourth, and so on. Correct. So if you see here, by default, I'm not giving axis, right? So by default, it will flat the array and it will repeat all the elements. Correct. So let's see some more examples here. X is equal to 0. Okay. So 0 is nothing but, okay, I'm going to talk about axis also later, but just remember x is 0 means column wise and x is 1 is row wise. Okay, so column wise like 1, 2, 1, 2. So you see here it is like top to bottom. Okay, and if I give x is equal to 1, then it will be left to right, that is row wise. Okay, so first it will take 1. Okay, then it will take another, the second element is, so from second row, first element is 3, right? That's why you see 1, 3, another 1, 3, then 2, 4, and 2, 4. 2 times it is going to repeat. Okay, so that's how repeat works. Now let's see the tile. Why it is not pasting? Okay, so let's go to the next. It is becoming slow. np dot tile. Let's see this function what it does. So it needs one array and repetitions, right? So I have array of, let's say, I think there is a power outage. Okay, so tile, it needs one array, so I'm just going to create 1 comma 2, and I just want to repeat 2 times. Okay, so 1 2, the whole element will get repeated. It's not like earlier you saw, right? Okay guys, so let's see the tile now. So np dot tile, let's see what this function does. It takes one array argument, so let's create one small array, 1 2, and it needs the repetition. Let's say I want 3 times. Okay, see here, so in earlier example, repeat was like it was repeating each and every element, right, with along with the axis. And here whatever array has been provided, first the whole array will be repeated those many number of times. Okay, so let's take another example. I'll take 1 2, then second row as 3 and 4, right, and repeat it 3 times. See here, 1 2 3 4, 1 2, and this 3 4, right? This the complete array one time, then second time, then third time. Okay, so let me just denote it. So if you're not able to see, this is what I'm talking. So first array got repeated one time, then second time, and this is your third time. Okay, so similarly, if you want, I can show you another one. Let me clear this annotation. Okay. So let's take another one. Okay, so 1 2 3 first time, then 1 2 3 second time, then third time, and so on. Okay, so that's how this tile work. Okay, so what else I can show here? Yeah, so tiling, you can do one more thing here. So right now we are just giving like these many number of repetition, right? So you can repeat with the help of a given shape also. Okay, so let's say I want to have 1 2 this matrix as 4 by 4 matrix, correct? See what is happening. So it is going to repeat 1 2 in such a way that you will be having 4 by 4 matrix. Okay, so 4 rows and 4 columns by repeating these element 4 times. Okay, so that's how you can do the tiling. Okay, now let's take a look at append, insert, and concatenate. So first we'll see append. So append, what it does, like list you have already seen, right? It will append only at the last. So assume that I have one np dot append. I'm going to create one array here, 3. Okay, so what it does, it will take the array. So I have already given array. It will take values, right? So I'm going to insert, let's say, since it is single dimension, so I can write one value only, right? I'll insert, let's say, 100 and axis name. So right now I'm not giving axis, so by default it will append at the end. Okay, now let's create 2-dimensional array. So I'm going to make 1 2, then 3 comma 4. I hope it is recording. Yeah, so 1 2 3 4, and I'm going to append, since it is 2 dimensions, so I can give 5 6. Let's see what happens. So 1 2 3 4 5 6, since I am not giving any axis, right, so it will be flattened. Now assume that I am giving axis 0. So axis 0 is what? Column wise. So you guys can pause the video and guess and answer this. 1 2 3 4 5 6. All the input array must have same number of dimension. Okay. Oh, same number of dimensions. So I have to make it this. since this is part of two-dimensional array, right? So I have to make it dimension is 2, otherwise it is single array, right? Single dimension. Okay, so make sure dimension is always correct. Now let's say I make is row measure. What will happen? So all the input array dimension for the conversion exists must match exactly, right? So what I have given, now I can insert it, append it at the 1 2 3 4, then 5 6, x is 1. So row wise 1 2 3 4. Oh, then I have to, because 2 rows are there, right? So I have to exactly make 2 rows. So 5 6, then comma 7 8. Otherwise how you are going to append? Dimension has to, or shape has to be same, right? So 1 2 3 4, then in the row wise I am adding, so left side by side 5 6 7 8. Okay, that's how we use append. So now you know x is 0 and 1 also. Okay, let's talk about insert. Insert values along the given axis before the given indices. Okay, so here it is also going to work same way the way we did in the list. So np dot insert. So let's see what and all it takes. It takes array and it takes object and the values. Okay, so insert values along the given axis before the given indices. Okay, so my array is 1 2 3. I want to insert values. So let's say at 0th position I want to insert 100. See here. So basically this object is nothing but it's a position of the index where you would like to insert 100. Okay, so let's take this was single dimension. I am going to take 2 by 2 now. So this is the first row element, then this is my second row element. Okay, and inside this I am going to insert, since it is 2 dimensions, so of course you need to insert 2-dimensional array. Okay, so 1 2 3 4, and I'm going to insert 5 6 as 0th position. Okay, so since I have not given access, so of course it will be flattened array. Now I'm going to use access. So x is equal to 0, that is column wise. See here, so 1 2 3 4, since I have given 0 position, so assume that you have not given any, this is the original array 1 2 3 4. So at the 0th index, this is the one which is existing, right? So now I'm going to insert something else at the 0th position. So what will happen? The original element, whatever is present in 0th position, that is going to be shifted by 1. Okay, so in 0th position now 5 6 will be there, and remaining array will be shifted by 1. Okay, now let's make it by 1. See here, so 1 2 3 4, and I'm going to make it as row wise. So 5 and 6, that's how you are going to insert it. Earlier it was row wise, I mean to say column, and now it will be row wise. Okay, let's take the next one, that is concatenate. So join a sequence of array along an existing axis. Okay, so I'm going to define two array here. A equal to np dot array, let's say 1 comma 2, and I'm going to b, that is 3 and 4. Okay, so I'm going to use np dot concatenate. Let's see what it takes. It takes all the arrays, right? So all the arrays in the form of tuple a comma b. Let's see what it does. It will just concatenate, right? And what else we have? If you don't give access, of course it is going to flat the array. So in single dimension you are going to get 1 2 and 3 4. Now assume that I am going to give access equal to 0. Of course it is single dimensions, you are going to get one flat array. And in case you are going to give x is equal to 1, see what happens. X is 1 is out of bounds of array of dimension 1. Okay, so let's make this as 2 dimension. 1 2 3 comma 4. Okay, 5,6 and 7,8. You see here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this was first row, this was second row. That's how we got it. And I'm going to add along with row, right? So it will be side by side. Now take the same example and make it x is 0. It will be top to bottom. Okay, so 1, 2, this is the first row, this is second row, and below that second axis, second array will come, that is B, 5, 6, and 7, 8. Okay, so that's how you concatenate. So let's see the next topic, that is arithmetic operation. Okay, there's again power outage. Yeah, so arithmetic operation. So guys, whatever mathematical operation you have done so far, right? Same thing you can do over list, n-dimensional array as well. Okay, so in this case it will be different, because whatever operation you are going to do on an array, everything is going to be done, that same operation is going to be applied over all the elements of the array. Okay, so let's create one array here, a dot array, say 1.2, sorry 1, then 3, 4. So this is 2 by 2 matrix. Okay, so I'm going to add print a plus 1. Okay, so let's say I'm going to add 1 to array a. So what will happen now? So 1 will be added to each and every element of a. Okay, so I'll print a, original a, and second a. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 1 will be added to each and every element. Okay, now let's take a look at subtraction. So 1 will be subtracted over each and every element. Okay, similarly you can do multiplication. I'll just multiply by 10. So every element will get multiplied by 10. Let's say you are doing division by 3. Okay, so this float division, and if you are going to do integer division or float division, you can use this. Similarly, you can use power. So you can do any operation. Okay, but remember, this is different than list. So whatever operation you are going to perform, it will be performed over each and every element of an array. Okay, so that is the beauty of n-dimensional array or NumPy array. Okay, there are a couple of other operations, so I would suggest you guys try that. Okay, like modulo, then any other operation if you want. Now let's see the indexing and slicing. How indexing and slicing works in the array. Okay, so I think this syntax I have already given in previous examples. So let's take a look once again. So you have array, and inside that, if you would like to access any element, you can do by this syntax: row number, comma, column number, then step size. Okay. So let's take one example. So I'm creating 1 to 10, test 16 element. I'm going to create 4 by 4 matrix. Okay, let's say you would like to access the element, right? So of course, if you want to give 0, then what will happen? It is going to return me 0th element. So if you see here, right, if you are going to just create a list inside a list, right? So NP array is what? It is basically list, so many lists inside a list, right? So you see here, outermost square bracket, that is nothing but your single list. And inside that, I have so many lists separated by comma. Okay, so what will happen? Basically, this is the first element, right? That's why I got first, and which also tells first row of a given matrix. Okay, so that's why when you give 0, means it is going to return the first row of the array. Okay, so let's write another one, a 0, and if you don't give column, so by default it is first row, right? Now after comma you can have column value, right? If I give 0, means from first row I want first column value, that is nothing but your 2. Okay. Similarly, let's keep watching. I want, let's say, third row to second column. So what is my third row? 0, 1, 2, 3 and 0, 1, 2. This is the 4. That's what you got, correct? So I'll not repeat each and every element, but I'm just going to show a couple of more things. So let's say you want to access all rows in but second column. You can give all rows in second column. So what is all rows? Second column 0, 1, 2. This is your second column. But in this I want all rows. So 1, 2, 5, 4. From this column, all the row elements are getting extracted. That is 1, 2, 5. Okay. Similarly, I want all rows, all columns. Okay. Every second element from each row, every third element from each column. See what is happening. 2, 5, 9, 5. Okay. Now you would like to reverse the whole array. Then how you do that? Column, column, -1. The way you reverse the list. Column, column, -1. Okay. So first all row will be reversed. So bottom row will be going to top and like that. Okay. Then rightmost column will go to the first column. So here C 6, 5, 5, 6, 9. 6, 5, 6, 9. That was your original array, right? 6, 5, 6, 9. Okay. So first you shift all the rows, then you column. Okay, so that is the basic of indices and slicing. Okay, guys, so let's go to the next one, iterating over an array. So as I mentioned, an n-dimensional array is nothing but list inside a list, right? So if you would like to iterate over an array, so let me print A. Okay, so the best way is you just put a for loop. Okay, of course we are going to use for loop only to iterate. So for, so since you are going to iterate over each row of the array, right? So I will just mention row in A, print row. Now run. See here. So from array A, I'm going to extract each and every row separately and just print. Okay, and after that you put another loop. So from each row you are going to extract another element. So each element from each row. So how you can do that? For lm in row print lm. See here, 2819 like that. Then you do whatever operation you would like to do. Okay, so that is the basics of iterating over an array. Now let's see most important thing is statistical function. So guys, I'm going to talk about a couple of statistical function. I'm not going to explain the formula and how it works, which I'm going to cover under statistics video. Okay, so for timing, just bear with me and just have a look what exactly it is returning and how to use that function. Okay, so I'm going to create one array here, np dot random dot randint. See how frequently I'm going to use this function, and it will be heavily used over statistical functionality and machine learning and deep learning. Okay, so 1 to 50, and I want to generate 10 values, and let's generate 15 values and reshape them. Let's say 5 rows, 3 columns. Print them. Okay, this is the value. So let's take a look how this works basically. So you apply your array and apply the min functions. Min function is like in general available. You can just apply. So what it does, it will find the minimum of the whole array. So out of these 16 element or 15 element, what is the minimum value of that array? That is what is going to be provided. Okay. Similarly, we have a dot max, whatever is the maximum value in the array. Okay, that's what is going to be provided. See the beauty of NumPy. You just apply the function and rest of the job will be done. Assume that it was a normal list, what we have learned earlier, and you have to find min and max. Couple of lines of code you need to write, right? But here you just write a function and it will do the magic. Okay, and let's see. Let's put it here. Okay, now we have a min and a max, right? Now under a min, okay, first let me write it. A min. A min is nothing but minimum of an array. So it is basically same what we have used, but this is like very specific to NumPy functionality. Okay, it is going to return me same thing from NumPy a min of a. Okay, so if you take a look at a min function, what exactly it is taking, what are some other parameter? So it has axis also. Okay, and leave these things, we will talk about this later, because where and all I'm going to use separately, that has more meaningful detail. Okay, so let's talk about this axis. This is very important. So as I mentioned, if you use a min function, right, as a whole array, it is going to return what is the minimum value of that array, right? But what if you are interested in the minimum value of each row, or what is my minimum value in each column? So that's where axis will come into picture. Okay, so as I mentioned, if you want column wise, axis 0 to be applied. Okay, column wise. So in each column, what is my minimum value? So in this first column, we have 6. In this column, we have 4. In this column, we have 4. Correct? If you want row wise, what changes you have to do? Just give axis 1. Okay, that is row measure. So that's why you see 1, 2, 3, 5. 5 rows are there. So 5 different values you see. So from where it is coming? From each row, it is fetching the minimum value. So out of 30, 39, 46, we have 30 as minimum value. Then 4, then 4, then 21, then 6. Okay, so like that you can use axis. Now let's talk about another one, argmin. So np dot argmin of a. So what it does basically, it is going to return, you see here, see the help. Return the indices of the minimum value along an axis. Okay, so since you have not given axis, it is going to return me the position of the minimum value. Okay, so this position will be like 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The fourth row is having minimum value. That's why you are getting 4. Let's talk about max. Okay, so 7th value, what is my argmax a. So return the index of the maximum value along an axis. So we are getting 7. So where exactly it is? Maximum value is 4, right? So 3, 3, 6. So it is going to basically a flat the array. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's why we got 4th position. Okay, and 48 is the maximum value. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's why you got 7. Okay, you can read here once again. Return the indices of the maximum value along an axis. Okay, if you are going to give x is equal to 1, so from each row it is going to find the maximum value and return the position of that row. Okay, so let's talk about the first row. What we have, what is the maximum value? 0, 1, 2. That is the second position. That's what we got here. Okay, now in the second row, maximum value is in 0th index. That's why we got 0, and so on. Okay, so using an axis, I can just put here. Okay, let's see mean, median, standard, and average variation. Okay, variance basically, not variation. Okay, so I'm going to have print a. I'm going to apply same thing. Okay, so a dot mean of whole. So it will calculate, it will sum all the element and divide by 15. That's what you got mean. Then we have what else? Median. Do we have median or not? So median is there. Okay, that is np dot, did I write a? Np dot median of a. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is globally available, right? You can use same way using np dot a. This should also work. Okay, so median is different. So I'll tell you how exactly mathematically it is working. So just remember that how to use the function right now. Then we have variance, right? So you can use standard deviation and variance. Okay, then we have variance of A. Okay, so that's how you get as a whole. Now, what if you want to do, or if you want to calculate standard deviation using axis along with the axis? So same way you can just put axis equal to 0. This will be column wise. If you give 1, it will be row wise. Okay, so that's about these basic standard deviation and all other statistical function. I'll be talking more about this in a different video, that is statistical video. There I'll cover in detail like how those functions work, what is their formula, and how to calculate it manually. Okay, now let's see PTB, what it is. NP dot array. Let me create simple one. Random dot value between 1 to, let's say, 50. I want to have 10 values. Reshape 2 rows and 5 columns. Okay, now I can use a dot p dot ptp a. So what exactly it does, basically it is just difference between maximum and minimum value of that array. So max minus min to be returned. So what is my maximum value? 36, and minimum is minimum, do we have 0? Oh, 37. 37 minus 1, that's why you got 36. Okay, similarly we have percentile. So percentile also I'll explain later with the help of formula how it works. NP dot, let's say we have formula called percentile, then you can use the given array, right? Okay, so from percentile of which array? A, and I want, let's say, 50th percentile. What is my value? So in 50th percentile you are getting 18. There is some formula to get the percentile, so I'll just prove it in the statistical video, then you will understand what it is. Okay, if you really want to know now, then you just Google it. There is a small formula which will help you to understand. Okay, now let's talk about histogram. So basically histogram is nothing but it just provides the frequency of occurrences of those value in a given array. Okay, so let's say you have a different color, different balls of different color, right? So let's say I have, out of 50 balls, you have 4 blue color and 10 pink color or 9 green color and so on, right? So you are basically creating a bucket of different color, and each bucket you are putting those colors, those color ball, right? So that is what is going to tell, okay, I have 3 green color, 10 pink color, like that. So similar kind of concept will be here, which will provide you the histogram. So I'm going to use a np dot rand int. So let's talk about dice. Okay, I have dice between 1 to 6 number. I'll take 7, and I'm going to throw 10 times. Okay, and let's see what we are getting. Random dot rand int. Okay, so out of this, I would like to see how many times we got 3. Let's throw a little more time. Okay, how many times I got 3, how many times I got 1, and so on. Correct. So for that, histogram will help you. np dot histogram a. See here. So if you see here, right, total values of what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and it is giving me the occurrences of those values. Correct. So this is nothing but because I have given by default bin sizes 10. You see here, bins are 10. So what I know in cubes, in dice, basically total 6 numbers are there, right? So I can divide them into 6 different bins instead of 10. Okay, so you see here, that's why 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You will not see any number which is more than, let's see why it is giving 7. I think, yeah, that's okay. 1 to 6. If I give 4, yeah, so in the 4 bins, so I'll have like 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, like that. Okay, so in different bins, this number is coming 10 times. Are we getting 10 times? So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 4 bin, how we are going to divide between 1 to 7? I think I should take some other number that will help you to understand better. So let's say I have 1 to 10 number or 11. I want exactly 10 numbers. Okay, an histogram and give the 10 by default. In by default 10 it is here, and here I'm going to use 5. Okay, so earlier, since we are having 10 possible numbers, so I have created 10. So 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, like that, right? But if you give 5, right, so my bin size will be reduced. So I'll go with, like, earlier it was 1 to 2, now I'll go 0, 1 to 4, or 1 to 3, or 0 to 2, then 2 to 4, 4 to 6, like that. So total 5 bins will be there. In each bin, how many numbers will be there? So between 0 to 2, it may have like 1 2 times, or 2 1 time, like that, right? So in that way, we are going to get histogram. So I'll help you to understand this better by plotting the histogram in the matplotlib. Okay. So just remember these operations. Now let's talk about conditional function. This is also very important, and believe me, guys, this is going to be used very heavily in data science. Okay. Why? Because you have very huge data, and out of those millions of data, you would like to filter those values which is meeting certain criteria, right? So that's where this conditional function will come into picture. So one of the function is where. So let me create one small array. Gradient. So 1 to 50, and I want, let's say, 20 numbers. Yeah. Reshape, let's say 5 by 4. Okay, so from this number, from this particular array, I would like to filter particular values which is satisfying the condition. Okay, so what you can do, np dot, there is function called where. Okay, so what it does, condition, what is my condition? Let's say a is greater than 20. Okay, and what else it takes? X and Y. So let's not worry about it. Return elements chosen from X and Y. Okay, so what it exactly does, you are going to just write a condition. So condition is, I have an array and I want to fetch those values which is greater than 20. See what it is returning. It is going to return me those values as well as their position, corresponding row and column position. Okay, the first value which is greater than 20, is it 20? No, it is greater than 20. Yes. So what is the position of this? It is there in the first row and first column. Oh, sorry, 0th row and first column. So that is what is 0th row, first column. Next value, is it greater than 20? Yes, it is meeting the criteria. What is the position? So this is there in the first, that is 0th row and second column, right? That's what 0th row, second column, and so on. Okay, so this is one way to filter it. Another way, or very simple way to filter, is use this one and store the output in, let's say, index. Okay, so this is what we got, correct? Now pass this index as a value or the parameter in the array. Okay, so this is very smart. It is automatically filter row and in a column index, and it is just going to return the value for which the condition is true. Okay, so if you remember, right, if you want to exactly get this value, what you do, basically you put in a square bracket and give the row indices and column indices, right? That's what it is going to do there. Okay, so let's see if we have any other way here to filter it. Okay, we have one more way. So instead of using where function and storing the row and column indices in the separate variable, what you can do, I'll just write out, put a and just combine this condition into single array. I would like to filter all the value of a where a is greater than, let's say, 30. Okay, this is another simple way to do that. Okay, so guys, let me just show one more thing here quickly. I'm going to plot this histogram. Okay, So for plotting, don't worry about the library which I'm going to use. I'm going to talk more about this in the matplotlib section. So in from as PLT. Invalid syntax, why? Oh, import. Okay, so you got it. So what I will do now, okay, I am going to use another function here, np dot bin count of a. Let me run this once again. Okay, so what it is returning? It is returning the count, right? X. Don't worry about this. Okay, count number of occurrence of each value in array in non-negative integers. Okay, so let's say I'll just store this as count and plt dot hist. I'll just give cnt. Then plt dot show. Okay, to make it more meaningful, now let me take some more 100 times. I'm throwing the dice with 1 7. Okay, now you see here. So since it is going to create 10 bins, right, differently. So what I will do now, here I'll give bin size equal to 6. That will make more sense. Okay, so don't worry about these numbers. These are nothing but the steps which is printed here, but you can just modify this later, which I'll show in the graphing. Okay, so you can get exact number like 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3. So if you are throwing the dice, right, it is coming around 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, like 3 to 4. So that 3 number is coming very high. Okay, so if you count also, you will find 3 number has come so many times. Okay, so that's what histogram does. Yeah, there was a power cut. Let me share the screen once again. Okay, so we saw it, right, using where function or whatever row and column indices are returned, you can use them in the array and filter a value where condition is true, or you can directly give the condition inside an array. Okay, so that's all about the where function. Let me see. We have something called this non-zero function np dot, let's say we have zero, right? Now we have something called np dot non-zero a. Okay, so what it is going to give, see here, 0 1 2 3 4 5, 0 1 2 3 4 5, right? So let's say I have some other zeros here. So it is going to return me the position of those value where values is not zero, okay, which is not equal to 0 basically. Let me share it again. Yeah, so you can give np non-zero a. So it is going to return the position of where the value is non-zero. Okay, so 0 1 2 3 5 7, 0 1 2 3, then 4 is 0, so that's why it is not there. Then 5 is there, then again 6 is 0, then 7, then 0. Okay, so you can use non-zero also. So PTV, I think I have already shown you, so let me delete this. we have something called extract. Okay, so let's see how extract works. Okay, so here we are going to return, I'm going to use same array. A dot or np dot yeah, so what will be the condition? I have a equal to or maybe greater than, let's say 40, and what next? Array, right? So array is nothing but a. It is also going to do same thing. So whichever way you want, either using where function or direct condition inside an array, or using extract, or yeah, using non-zero, anything is fine. Okay guys, so let's see the next one, shallow copy and deep copy. I think still so many topics are remaining, so I think I'll wind up over copy, shallow copy and deep copy, then later we'll cover. Okay, and let's say, I think shallow copy, deep copy I have explained in one of the Python tips and tricks part 1 or 2. You can watch there also, but let's say how it works in the NumPy array. So np dot, let's create that array 3 4, 5. Okay, so here is your array, and let's say b equal to a I'm giving. Okay, so what will happen? B, if you see the array, right, what it does, copy equal to 2, it is exactly copying. So whatever changes you are going to make here in the B, same changes is going to be reflected in A as well. Okay, so let's change some value. Let's say B 0th row, 0th column, I would like to make this as 100. Okay, and print B. So print A, print B. Let's see what is happening. See here, you did modification only for B, but A is also getting reflected because it was copied. Correct? Now, how to overcome from this problem? So let's say you don't want to modify, but accidentally it got modified, right? So we have something called copy flag, right? You make it just false, or you can do one copy. So this was shallow. This is known as shallow copy. So let me just write it here. Okay, so shallow copy means modifying array B will be reflected in A as well. Okay, so now let's say deep copy. So how to do that? So there are two ways to do that. I'll use B equal to np dot copy of A. Okay, then print B. Since I have already modified B, right? So now this time what I'll do, B, let's say 0th row, 0th column, I would like to make 500 and print B. So B got changed, but did we change the A also? It is still remaining the same. Okay, so that's how you can avoid modifying the original array by using copy option. And we do have option using copy true, but if you are passing an object, then it makes sense to use that. Okay, so I think that's all for today, guys. This is too much for now, and remaining topic I'll cover in the next video. Okay, I think very few are remaining, but I'll put more focus on all these things, how to do that. I think it will not take much time. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you so much.